Hi everyone, this is Victor Nwoke and welcome to this quick PowerShell walkthrough. Today I'll show you how you create a new Active Directory user, place them inside a specific organizational unit, and add them to a security group, or using PowerShell. Now this is a great automation task for anyone starting with Active Directory management. Let's get started. Now we're going to open PowerShell, and this is PowerShell environment. Open it as an administrator. Now, first thing we're going to do, we're going to define some variables for the new users. We're going to define the variables. We're going to define the first name, the last name, the username, the password, the OU we want to place them in, and the security group we'll add them to. First, defining a variables. We're going to set the variables for our new account, our new user account. Now, when setting the variables, this is very important. $sign is very important. This shows that we are creating the container first name and we are putting Godfrey as the first name. Then next we go to the last name. We're defining the variables for the last name, John. Next, we will define the variables for the username, which will be Godfrey dot John. We close and hit enter. Next, we're going to define the password. Here we're going to create a secure password string for the user using the convert to secure string. Then the convert to secure string. The password goes down. This is the password. Then we say as plain text, hit enter. Now we've defined the variables for the password. Now we define the OU we are going to put this user account in. Let me say OU will be. Now, this is the parts of the organizational units where we want to place the user in. Make sure you update this to your actual organization units. This is IT and this is the domain controller, like the domain. This is my domain, humbltech dot dot cloud. I'll hit enter. Now for the next step, we are going to create the new AD user. Now creating the new AD user, we are going to use the new AD user commandlet. We're going to use the new AD user commandlet. So we say new AD user. So we define all the variables, all the parameters, the name as the first name, the variables for the first name, and the surname as the last name. This will give us the full name. The combination of the first name and the last name, Godfrey John, is the full name. Now next, we are going to assign the given name, the username, the surname, which is going to be the login name, the new account we use to log in. So we define the given name as the first name, variables of the first name. We define the surname, which is the variables for the last name. Then we define the SAM account name, which is the variables for the username. Now we've defined the name, which is the full name. We've defined the given name as the first name, that is the variables for the first name, Godfrey. We define the surnames as the variables for the last name, John. Then the SAM account name as the username, Godfrey.John. Next, we are going to assign a user principal name. This is basically the email style, so we say, which will be variable for the username at our domain, which is humbletech.cloud. So now we've defined the user principal name. We go to the paths, which is the OU. Next, we will define the account password, which is the variable for the password. Now we are going to enable this account. We are going to enable this account as true. So the account will be available immediately. We say enabled. We set this as true. Let's run this command. Then we hit enter. First, before you hit enter, let's check the spelling if there's an error before we hit enter. Now what we did here is we use the new AD user commandlet, new AD user. We define the parameters for the name, which is the first name, the variables for the first name and the last name, which will give us the full name. We assign the given name, which is the variables for the first name. Then we assign the surname as variables for the last name. We assign the farm account name, which is the username. Then we assign the user principal name, which will be the full login details, login they will use when they log in. We use the username, the variables for the username at our domain. Then we assign the paths, which is the O. Then we assign the password, which is the variables for the password. Then we enable the account immediately as true. If you don't want this account to be enabled immediately, we set this as false. Now we have check and confirm that every spelling is correct. Then we hit enter. Let's go to our AD user and computer, the Active Directory user and computer, to confirm if what we did is corresponding. We'll refresh this tab. We are in the tech OU. You can see we've quickly confirmed that the Godfrey John user is in the OU department. You can see the accounts. Godfrey John at our domain is member of this tech OU. Now that we have created a new user account and we have checked in our AD users and computer to confirm that the new user is being populated in the tech OU. Now we are going to create a security group in the tech OU. We're going to create a security group. To create a security group, we are going to use the commandlet new AD group commandlet. It's a new AD. We define the parameter SysAdmin. We give the security group a scope, say group scope, set it as global. The group category, we set it as security. Then the parts where the security group will be in. So we're going to define the parts. Say OU equals to tech. The security group will be inside the tech in our DC, which is humble tech. Cloud. Hit enter. Now we have added this SysAdmin in our OU. Let's confirm in our AD users and computers with fresh. Now you can see the SysAdmin is added in the tech OU, and we define the group scope as global, then the group type as security. Next, we're going to add a new user we created to our SysAdmin. Let's open our PowerShell. Now to add the users to a security group, we are going to be using the add AD group member commandlet. First, let's define the group variables. SysAdmin. We hit enter. Now we are going to use the add AD group member commandlet space, define the identity as the group. Now the members will be the user we created earlier. We hit enter. Now we're going to check and confirm if what we did works or is populated. We hit on, we right click and refresh, open our security group and check member. Now we can find that the new user is in our security group. Now that's it. And we have just created a new Active Directory user, place them in a specific OU, add them to a security group. All we use is PowerShell. Now this automation is super helpful for speeding up user onboarding and reducing manual errors. If you find this helpful, feel free to connect or drop a comment below. Thank you.